Welcome to the first Delaware County Board of Supervisors meeting back in a true open session, not on Zoom. We're super happy to be here with you today. It is 10 o'clock. It is time for our regular open session. I'd like to briefly pause for a moment of reflection. Thank you. Kylie, could you please take roll?
Supervisor Hemmingson,
Here.
Supervisor Starkey. Here. Supervisor Short,
Here.
Supervisor Berkowitz.
Yes.
Chair Howard.
Yes. All right. Supervisor Short, could you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. Mr. Lopez, is there any new employees to introduce today?
None today, Chair Howard.
Thank you. Joel, anything to report out of closed session?
No, not today.
Thank you. All right, at this time, I'd like to request any deletions, corrections, or additions from board members to the agenda. Are there any at this time? Okay, seeing none, we're going to go ahead and move into brief reports on progress by 2x2 committees and other programs and activities that you've had since our last board meeting. Supervisor Starkey, can you please kick us off?
Thank you, Chair. Again, since it was a 3 week since our last meeting, it's going to be a little longer than normal. I attended a Solid Waste Management Authority meeting. I worked on some treated wood issues and solutions. It looks like Oregon has agreed to once again accept our treated wood from California. They're asking that you cut down your lengths to below 8 feet. And I'm working with our transfer station to determine if they will start accepting the treated wood at their facility. I know Recology has already put in a variance so that they can accept it, but we need to make sure our transfer station will accept it. I reviewed more and more information about SB 1383 and starting to make some progress forward on that. I attended a 5150 training put on by our behavioral health department. I attended a Cal Ore tour, met with Joe Gregorio and Dan Bratton regarding their operations. And I got a chance to sit inside the Life Flight airplane, which was pretty cool for me. I attended a Chamber of Commerce meeting, the National Christmas Tree meeting. I'm going to be the chair of that event. So we're going to put on a community-wide celebration for that. And I'm pretty excited about that. I attended the LAFCO meeting where we reviewed the Smith River Cemetery. And we postponed the Harbor District's review until the next meeting in August. I attended the RCTA board meeting. We discussed the changes in the schedule for the summer. I attended a farewell lunch for Dr. Raywelt. Him and his wife, as of 5:01 that day, were headed on a vacation, a much earned vacation. I attended a First Five meeting. I attended the Children's Fair, Sandcastles by the Sea, that was put on by the Del Norte Child Care Council as part of our kickoff for our 4th of July. I was the co-chair for the 4th of July festivities. So that part of it was to attend the deck party. It was a great turnout. We made lots of money, and that's all going toward next year's fireworks. I was a judge at the 4th of July parade and attended the festivities at Beachfront Park. A big shout out to Fog Bank Clothing, the class of 1970, and the Humane Society of Del Norte. Supervisor Hemmingson, not to give away his age, but he did graduate with the class of 1970, to do the math. And he was there with his colleague or with his classmates to accept the award. Fog Bank got first, Jerry's class got second, and the Humane Society was third. I'm sorry, Supervisor Hemmingson's class. I attended the Harbor Commission's meeting. I participated in the Last Chance Grade virtual town hall with Supervisor Berkowitz, which I'm sure he'll provide more information on. Caltrans was really receptive to some of the ideas that was presented And I toured Del Norte Ambulance with John Pritchett and Charles Tweed. They took the time to go over a lot of information with me. That's what I've done.
Terrific. Thank you, Supervisor Starkey. Supervisor Short.
Thank you, Chair. I attended the North Coast EMS JPA meeting, gave an update about last chance grade and the new schedule and the hard closures that will affect emergency response to the southern area of the county. I attended a LAFCO meeting, as Supervisor Starkey did, and discussed the sphere of influence for Smith River Cemetery District. I attended the RCTA meeting with Supervisor Starkey, and we talked about expanding some routes and starting up routes on Saturdays again. Of course, this is contingent on being able to hire drivers, which has become more difficult as the new minimum wage increases are coming into effect. This situation was also discussed at length, and the decision was made to make those wage adjustments. So hopefully Caltrans, who has the veto authority for the RCTA budget, will approve those increases so we can retain some quality employees there. I attended the Six Rivers NRA Gasky Ranger District preseason fire meeting led by Jeff Marzell. He wanted me to be sure and bring a clarification to the board during his report to us about a month ago. He reported that they were only staffing one fire engine, and they normally staff two and a water tender, but he was able to hire enough to staff two fire engines. They are still shy of that water tender, but that was good news that we have two fire engines coming out of Gasky Ranger District. Chief Rick Young reported that 60% of the nation's federal firefighting crews are already on assignment, which is very early in the year to have that many crews to be assigned.
Wow.
Just to have an idea of what kind of fire season is heading our way. I also attended a farewell luncheon to wish Dr. Realwalt a happy retirement. I listened to California redistricting. I'll learn to control my tongue here. But listen to the California Redistricting Commission and their public comment session as it relates to Del Norte County. I spoke to a constituent about camping on the beaches during the weekend of the 4th and how camping could continue without any checks and balances in place. Attended the Del Norte Local Transportation Commission meeting where we got a construction update on last chance grade. And in that meeting, we agreed to partner with the Del Norte County Chamber of Commerce to have them reach out to our regional areas in our region, so as many people get information about the process at the grade. Attended agenda review for Solid Waste Management Authority meeting for this afternoon. I attended the tri-agency meeting, and lastly, I was asked by Tiffany Brown and Supervisor Starkey if I could help out at the deck party and help the chamber set that up and be part of that. And it was a lot of fun. And I just wanted to give a shout out to those people at the chamber. Putting on that event was a huge undertaking. And there's so many people there doing such hard work to get it done. It was just amazing to see the amount of organizing that went into that and just to make it a successful event. So I appreciated being there, I appreciated being asked to be there, appreciated helping and appreciated everybody who threw in to make it a great event. And that is it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Short. Supervisor Hemmingson.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Howard. Had a lot of stuff going on, some of it personal and family, but nevertheless, it was all part of the last few weeks. I attended the Rural Counties ESJPA, which is the Environmental Services JPA under our Rural Counties committees. Anyway, I am the representative, but feel that it's much more important that our alternate Ted Ward from our solid waste attend that, and he has been. But I thought that we had some discussion on 1383, which is really going to become an issue. And my big concern, or one of my big concerns, I guess, is the elimination of possibly self-haul, where you won't be able to haul your own garbage. So I don't know where that's going, and tried to get some answers from that, but it's still up in the air. I attended the EMS meeting for Supervisor Short, who surprised me in showing up. So we were both there, which was interesting. I was glad that I attended, but I thought I was filling in for him, and there he was. As was stated by Supervisor Starkey and Supervisor Short, along with Supervisor Berkowitz, we attended the farewell lunch for Dr. Raywalt. You know, a lot of people there. It was really nice to send him off, and he's looking forward to his vacation. My wife and I celebrated our 48th wedding anniversary, my daughter's birthday. I went to a celebration of life for Jeff Mitchell out at the Delmar Golf Course. My sister and brother-in-law had their 50th wedding anniversary. And as Supervisor Starkey said, I cannot hide my age any longer, even though for the COVID year, we should have had our class reunion last year, and we're unable to do so. So actually, it was our 51st class reunion for the class of 1970. And I did attend the 4th of July parade, as well as the other activities. And even though the class of 70 got second place, I was not too upset, because I can understand why Fog Bank got first place, because my grandkids were on that float. So that would be hard to choose. And if I was going to choose, I would certainly choose my grandkids. As Supervisor Short said, we had a Delmar Local Transportation Commission meeting, last chance grade discussion. Also had a proactive financial goal committee meeting. We're working on solutions for some unfunded liabilities, and hopefully we get there. And over the weekend, I had some weapons training from the sheriff and Gene McManus, which was very interesting, and I was happy to do that. That's it for me.
Thank you, Supervisor Hemmingson. Supervisor Berkowitz.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since our last meeting, I, like many of the board members, received numerous questions concerning the status of last chance grade. In view of this, Supervisor Starkey and I hosted a meeting with the representatives of Caltrans in charge of District 1. The meeting was via Zoom. Representing Caltrans was Jamie Mattioli, the project manager who supervises the work on last chance grade, Sebastian Cohen, the construction manager who supervises the staff, and Corey Weed, the chief of the public information and legislative branch, and Joan Chapkett, the senior facilitator for the Zoom meeting. As of now, the road is closed from 8 a.m. to noon and 3 to 7 p.m. Monday through Thursday. It's closed from 8 to noon on Friday and open all day on weekends with a 30-minute delay. 73 people attended the meeting via Zoom. The takeaway from the meeting was that the new timeline will shorten the work required on the existing roadway for some 3 months, which will finish the work on the roadway sometime in August, which will be just in time for school. The entire presentation is available on the Last Chance Grade website. Also attended, along with the other supervisors, a luncheon in honor of Dr. Raywald, who's leaving us, and he will be missed. And I also took part in the 4th of July parade, which was a great booster for morale for all of us that have been affected by COVID-19. And that's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Berkowitz. Well, I took a much needed break with my family after 2 years of not going on vacation and rewarded my son after his first year of college with a nice little trip out of country. Happy to be back in Del Norte County because it's a lot more pleasant here than other places of the world. Like Supervisor Short and Supervisor Hemmingson reported, attended a Del Norte Local Transportation Commission meeting. As reflected upon, last chance grade was a big part of that discussion, along with 199 and Elk Valley Crossroads and how we could continue to partner with Caltrans with additional funds that are coming in to the Del Norte Transportation Commission to where we can potentially get a safety improvement project going at that very dangerous intersection. Also had good news that was confirmed delivery on improvements that will take place at Timber Boulevard on Highway 101, where there's been quite a bit of high collision rates over the last year and a half, especially since Dollar General has gone into that location. So happy to see those moving forward. Attended agenda review, and then also had a Zoom meeting with the Legislative Analyst's Office. As many may or may not know, this board has advocated continuously, along with other rural counties, for the UC cooperative extension positions and how those rural positions serve rural counties, in particular on capacity needs that many counties do not have. This year, we're very fortunate, after several years of work, that the governor did accept the legislative budget to increase the amount of money that directly goes into the ANR budget, which directly affects UC Cooperative Extension. Cooperative Extension has supported us tremendously in the last couple of years, not only as it relates to fire and fire planning, but in addition as it relates to sudden oak death and treatment of sudden oak death in this county, which we had a major outbreak of last year with a European strain. I can't thank our representatives enough, especially Yana Valikovic of the UC Cooperative Extension out of Humboldt County that serves Del Norte, and all the effort she's put up here with also her staff. And I'm glad that the state of California, in particular, governor, has finally recognized the important work you do for small rural counties that have very limited capacity in these areas. So good job, board, and thank you for that advocacy you've done over the years on this area. As Supervisor Short mentioned, attended a tri-agency meeting where we discussed efforts around looking at alternative energy sources, in particular wind power offshore. We're going to continue having those discussions, but really going to hopefully dive into it over the next couple months, see if we can't gain some traction there as the state really looks at alternative energy sources to be in place here in the next decade. This could greatly impact also rates that our users pay if we get an alternative energy source as effective as the one here off our coast, which is wind power. Also had a meeting with Barry Economic Development contractor that's been hired by the city to really take a look at visionary type documents and where this community is going. More than happy to participate in a discussion that looked back, but also looked forward into the future and where Del Norte County, in particular, with its partners like Crescent City and the tribes, really would like to see our community go, especially as it relates to economic development and where some more important infrastructure might be placed. And also had a meeting with True North, and that issue really involved around the homeless issues, in particular acquisition of potential lands where we could place structures in our area. So that was a good conversation. I'll continue to have this conversation with True North representatives. Talked to constituents a lot about the congestion along 199, a lot of unsafe driving that is causing a lot of congestion issues. I don't know how we change behaviors on Highway 199, but I do know how we change infrastructure needs. And having 199 in particular being held up in litigation now for the last 14 years is absolutely outrageous. We have bridges that need to be replaced that were built in 1924 that had Model Ts driving across them. And because of litigation, we're not moving forward. And that particular bridge, many of you are aware, is one of the most dangerous bridges in the county because of the angle of approach on that alignment. Hopefully we could continue to look at ways to work with the courts now that the Del Norte Local Transportation Commission has been added to the list of groups that could advocate for 199 as representatives of this community and begin to move this conversation forward after many long years of battle with various environmental groups. Attended events in Gasky for the annual Gasky raft races, which weren't exactly raft races this year, but it was definitely a armada, a flotilla, whatever you might call it, of mass people floating down the river and enjoying the incredible sunshine and warm Gasky air this weekend. Had a lot of concerns associated with Low Divide Road and continued, I wouldn't call it gun violence, but a lot of shooting, dumping, and slow response time for our sheriff's department up there to address needs of area constituents living in that area. Hopefully I could talk to the sheriff or deputy sheriff here in the next couple of weeks and begin to get some attention paid to that area where constituents feel like there's not a lot of attention being paid. Not entirely sure what we could do there because this has been an issue on our radar for years, but hopefully there's something that we can do creatively to think outside the box around Low Divide Road. And then lastly, I'd like to end the discussion. We're still paying a great deal of attention to SB 12, which is a tiered regulatory approach around fire activity within regions that could impact this county greatly, especially as it relates to planning and development. This coupled with the fire safe regulations, which we're finally getting some folks at the Board of Forestry listening to us after 33, 34 counties have screamed very loudly that this just doesn't work for them. As you're aware, our lobbies, both RCRC and CSAC, have been paying a great deal of attention to us. Delaware County has been paying a great deal of attention to us because what ends up happening at the state is they really don't look to see what impacts are going to be on small rural when they pass legislation and how that legislation might conflict with other legislation, like you guys are required to build so many housing units per year. But when you're a county like Del Norte and you're 80% public land and a lot of that land's tied up in agriculture, it leaves very little to be developed. So then when you continue to reduce the amount of land that can be developed off our rolls because of fire safe regulations, that leaves pretty much nothing. And so then it conflicts with regulations that have us build so many units per year. So we're paying a great deal of attention to this. I know Jerry Hemmingson is also doing that through RCRC. We hope to have some common sense legislation, but like many of us have noted over the years, sometimes common sense legislation out of Sacramento doesn't happen. And the larger areas like LA and San Francisco get their way and we get ignored. So that's why we get things like state of Jefferson that continues to be a strong movement in the area sometimes. But we will do our best to look out for the best needs of this community, especially as it relates to fire safe regulation. And that's the end of my report. And it looks like it's about 10:23. We have time to take up one item on our agenda, most likely. Let's take up that consent agenda. Is there any motion for the consent agenda
Move to
at this
approve.
time? We have a
Second.
motion and a second. Any further discussion from the board? Okay, public comment on the consent agenda item only,
Chair, I have a written,
please.
and it's related to item number 10.
Yep.
And this is from Lisa Mahar.
Okay.
And it says, "Dear Supervisors, I entreat the Board of Supervisors to please approve the updated bench plan with the addition of bench site number 4. Allowing me to place a memorial bench at site number 4 is such a perfect way to honor my deceased mom, as it is the exact view she had and loved so much right in front of her house, which she sold when she became ill. Also, another bench is already there, setting precedent perhaps. Your approval of this bench location would mean a great deal to me. I can see myself sitting there and imagining her spirit in me, watching her beloved ocean and magnificent sunset through my eyes. I will pay the full cost of the bench using Del Norte County specifications and authorized bench contractor. A bench here would certainly be used by the community as people already stand here to watch the sunset. Thank you for your consideration and flexibility. Respectfully yours, Lisa Mahar, devoted daughter." And that's it for written.
Okay, thank you. Let's go ahead and open up for public comment on consent agenda items only. Okay, seeing none. Kylie, please pull the vote.
Supervisor Starkey?
Yes.
Supervisor Berkowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Short?
Yes.
Supervisor Hemmingson?
Yes.
Chair Howard?
Yes. All right, I've got a minute, so I'm going to squeeze in budget transfer items. Item number 14, approve and adopt transfer 06-04 in the amount of $10,000 within the sheriff's budget unit to offset the cost of canine training for fiscal year 2021.
Move to approve.
We have a motion on the table and a second. Okay, public comment. Okay, seeing none. Kylie, please pull the vote.
Supervisor Henningsen,
Yes.
Supervisor Starkey, Supervisor Brookowitz,
Yes.
Supervisor Short,
Yes.
Chair Howard.
Yes. All right, that brings us to our 10:25 timed item, which is the public comment period. Members of the public may address the board on matters which are within the jurisdiction of the board. If you're addressing the board regarding a matter listed on the agenda, you may be asked to hold your comments until the board takes up that matter. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. Is there any public comment today? Okay, seeing none, we're just going to go ahead and continue on with our agenda. We'll try to get a few more pieces squeezed in here before our 10:30 timed item, which I believe many of you are here for today.
Chair,
Yes,
I am sorry, I have a written, I overlooked that for the public comment period.
okay, no worries.
And this one is from Pamela O'Neill, and it's regarding the county easement perpendicular to Madison between Wildwood and Alexandria. So I would like the following statement be presented to the board meeting on July 13th, 2021, and included in the record. On June 8th, 2021, a statement was read into the record regarding the above referenced easement. No action was taken. In late June, I received a letter from Joel Campbell Blair County Council in response to my original statement. That letter had nothing to do with the problem at hand. On June 28, 21, I sent a response to Mr. Campbell Blair's letter, hoping to get clarification on his explanation of the situation. He has yet to respond. I have included copies of letters pertaining to this ongoing problem attached to said letters, the May 27th, 21 letter to the board, the letter from Campbell Blair, and the June 28, 21 letter from me to Campbell Blair. Thank you for your attention in this matter. Sincerely, Pamela O'Neill.
Thank you, Kylie.
Sorry about that.
No worries, it's all good. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on with legislative and budget issues. Consider miscellaneous legislative and budget matters pertinent to the county of Del Norte. Authorize the chair to sign and send appropriate letters with respect to matters pending before the state or federal governments. We have a couple items on the agenda, which item 15 we'll go ahead and take up now, which is approve the inclusion of a smooth drum vibratory soil compactor as a fixed asset purchase in the amount of $150,000 within the roads division budget for fiscal year 2021, and authorize community development department to purchase the roller prior to the adoption of the final fiscal year 2021 budget as requested by the community development department director. Heidi, I see you're here with us, but I'm not sure if we actually need you up here. But
Move for
maybe we do.
approval.
And second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and open up for public comment.
I'm not seeing any hands raised online.
Okay, thanks, Kylie. We'll go ahead and bring it back to the board. Further discussion here? Okay, seeing none, Kylie, please pull the vote.
Supervisor Berkowitz,
Yes.
Supervisor Starkey,
Yes.
Supervisor Short,
Yes.
Supervisor Henningsen,
Yes.
Chair Howard.
Yes. All right, we're going to go ahead and item number 16, which is approved and authorize the purchase of a Massey Ferguson MF 5710D utility tractor with diamond mower side mount flail mower at a price not to exceed $104,550 as requested by the Director of Community Development Department.
Move for approval.
And second.
Okay, we have a motion from Supervisor Hemmingson and a second from Supervisor Berkowitz. Any public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and bring it back to the board for a vote. Kylie?
Supervisor Short,
Yes.
Supervisor Starkey,
Yes.
Supervisor Berkowitz,
Yes.
Supervisor Henningsen,
Yes.
Chair Howard.
Yes. All right, let's go ahead and take up item number 17, which is approve and authorize a salary range adjustment for the licensed vocational nurse 1/2 and registered nurse 1/2 classifications as requested by the county administrative officer and auditor controller, and direct human resource staff to update the county staffing chart and the specific classification descriptions with the new pay ranges as requested by the county administrative officer and auditor controller. Any questions or discussions for staff? All right, I'd consider a motion at this time then. Don't
Make-
everybody go at once.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Supervisor Starkey and a second from Supervisor Hemmingson. Let's open it up for public comment. Good morning.
I don't have to adjust it much.
Let's make sure your mic's on. It's kind of soft right now.
Hello,
There we go.
there we go. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I'm Norma Williams, Chapter President of the Delaware County Employees Association, SEIU 1021. The union supports the proposed salary increases for the public health branch's licensed vocational nurse and registered nurse series classifications, and we ask that you approve the raises. As you can see in the report, both classifications have been well below the market rate when compared to like counties. When we agreed with Director Snow's proposal last Wednesday, we saw it as a win-win, a win for current staff and an overall win for the branch in terms of recruitment. As you know, we are currently in contract negotiations with your county team. It is our intention to advocate and push for salary increases for all, I repeat, all represented employees, wage increases that are competitive so that we can keep the employees we have and recruit qualified ones in the future. Wage increases that are equally, if not more so, well-deserved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other public comment, Kylie?
I'm not seeing any hands raised online.
Okay, and we're going to go ahead and bring it back to the board for a full vote.
Supervisor Berkowitz,
Yes.
Supervisor Short,
Yes.
Supervisor Hemmingson,
Yes.
Supervisor Starkey,
Yes.
Chair Howard.
Yes. All righty. Well, that brings us to item number 13, which is our last item on the agenda and most important, in my opinion, our 10:30 timed agenda item, which is employee recognition for COVID-19 response. I think it doesn't fall on this board lightly that many people in this county really stepped up above and beyond their job classification here the last year and a half. And even though June 15th has come and gone and orders have been lifted for the state of California, many employees in Delaware County still continue to be stalwarts as it relates to really moving things forward as it relates to COVID-19. And that does not go unrecognized by this board. In particular, there's been many in our public health department, and in addition, employees at DHHS that have stepped up over the last year and a half. And this board in particular feels it's extremely important to recognize those efforts. And if you don't mind at this time, I'd like to read from a list of names of employees that should be called out in their efforts over the last year and a half to really keep Delaware County not only safe, but also in line with state mandates, and in particular, continuing to provide those services to our community that are so incredibly important to those in need. You guys, in particular, you guys here in the audience, thank you for coming in. Should recognize that even though COVID was in place, we didn't skip a beat. And that's all because of the efforts that you've put in over the years. I will likely hear from the remaining board members here today about those recognitions, but let me first read some names into the record, and bear with me because there's quite a few that really stepped up over the last year and a half. First, I'd like to recognize those in public health. Melody Canyon Cuts, Shelley Bodenstab, Jamie Gormley, Colleen Machado, Rebecca Greenberg, Gail Tucker, and Elisa Calea. And the following list is people from the non-public health employees arena. First from fiscal, we have Erica Nelson. And also from case investigation, we have Norma Williams, who is here with us today. And McLean, Cheryl Hintz, Tracy Merrifield, Bonnie Brinegar, and now from employees with contract tracing, which was, I know, incredibly exciting for everyone. Cameron Fong Chavez, Rebecca Green, Kara Scallion, Grace Perry, Melissa Strom, Jennifer Elk, Cindy Salatne, Margarita Perez, Jerry Herr. And from the Department of Child Support Services that assisted with contract tracing, Amber O'Laughlin, Cesare Van Landingham, Annalika Glazner, Treasurer Cox, Eva Lopez, and Catherine Schiller. Thank you very much. Am I missing somebody? I am. Ann McAleenan. Okay. Thank you so much for the assistance. I knew I'd get a few wrong, but I really butchered a couple. But no, I appreciate it. You know, everybody, it's been a tough couple years, right? It's something that our community, we're small, we're under 28,000 people, but everybody knows everybody. And when everybody knows everybody, it's more than just a community. These are your friends and neighbors that you're talking about providing service to. And it literally, and I do truly mean this, it does not go unnoticed. And I appreciate the efforts of DHHS to bring this not only to the board's attention, but allow us, the board, to recognize all those that were so valuable to this community during its time of need. If there's anybody on the board that would like to say anything else, now would be a great time before I open it up to public comment.
Yeah, I would just like to echo the sentiments of Chair Howard. Really appreciate everything that you've done, and hopefully nobody was left off the list. If you were, we certainly appreciate everything that has been done and is continuing to be done. We've got a little ways to go yet, but we're going to get there. I think we've made the turn, and hopefully things get better, but really appreciate everything that you guys have done. Thanks.
That's from our most senior member of the Board of Supervisors. Supervisor Berkowitz.
You know, one thing that we have to all realize is that as a board, we can't get anything done without great employees. And that's what we have today. We should recognize that our employees are the lifeblood of this board, and we need to recognize them. And we have done that today, and we need to continue to do that year after year.
I just wanted to say, Shelby Bodenstab, you mentioned on the list, she is my niece. She may not claim me that quickly, but I'll certainly claim her, because I was fortunate enough to help out with some vaccination events while they were at the airport. And I just cannot say enough about the group that came out and worked those. Not only was it a ton of fun, just because all the people that were there just engaged with each other so well. Everybody worked hard, totally organized, very professional. And I just can't say enough about coming together and doing huge events like this, 400 people in one day. And actually it was about 3 hours, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty incredible events. And I know that took a tremendous amount of work in the background and on the ground on the day of, but thank you for that. And it's really obvious what kind of employees we have in this group. And I just couldn't say enough about what I witnessed and how well it went and how well it was handled. So thank you.
Thank you.
So I'll just finish it up here. And a lot has already been said that I would say as well. There's just so many people that people don't realize help behind the scenes. And sometimes there are unsung heroes. So if you're one of those people, if you had the boring job of contract tracing or something like that, I don't know if it's boring. I don't know. Just say that for sure. I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb. But we appreciate that. And we appreciate all that you've done. And I just have to say that, Supervisor Short kind of said that it was fun when he worked the clinics with you. Like he's surprised that you, public health nurses and the staff can be fun people. No, I'm teasing. But I also worked a clinic and it is a lot. Just that it's so nice to see the hearts are there and that you were there doing what you do, and you do that on a daily basis. And so we're very, very grateful.
All right, well, we've wrapped up our first back in-person meeting. It went very well. Nothing too eventful here today, other than this little celebration for our employees. We're going to adjourn at this time, and we'll see you next on July 27th, 2021 at 10.